Hi everyone, I miss you all. I hope you are doing well. I hope you're staying healthy, keeping busy, maybe using some of this extra time to be creative and work on your art practice. I thought it would be really fun to share with you a project that you can do at home right now. It's a project that the 7th graders have actually been working on for the past month or so. They've been coming up with really awesome ideas to create their own zines. And that's what I'm going to show you how to do today. So a zine is basically a very small version of a magazine. And the cool thing about it is that it is handmade, it's really easy to make, and it's really easy to reproduce, which means you can make photocopies of it, make multiples of it, and distribute it to many people. The first zine is traced back to around the 1930s and is associated with the genre of science fiction. But since then, it's been used in many different movements for many different purposes. In the 1970s, the punk movement distributed a lot of zines about punk musicians, punk artists. A lot of social activists and kind of marginalized communities have used the zine over the course of history to kind of spread their ideas, their political, social ideas, and activism. But a zine can really be about anything you want. So many artists today are kind of going back to the zine format to create miniature books of their artwork or to share their ideas with others. So you can be as creative as possible when you're thinking about what kinds of things you could create your zine about. You could make a zine of your favorite foods, make a zine of your favorite songs. You could write and illustrate a poem in your zine. You could do a zine about your favorite spots in New York City. You could do a zine about your favorite books. You could just do really a visual journal. You could pick a bunch of sketches from your sketchbook that you really like and put them all into one little book together. Anything you want. The possibilities are really endless with this project. And the very cool thing about the zine is that all you need really is one single sheet of copy paper, and eventually we'll need scissors. But for this first part, you actually just need paper. So I'm going to show you, we're going to be working on an 8-page zine. So you're going to have a front cover, a back cover, and 6 pages to create your illustrations with. So I'm going to show you the first part of the process, which is just folding your paper into the 8 pages that you're going to then create. So you're going to first take your single sheet of paper and hold it in landscape orientation, which is the long way like this. And then you're just going to fold it in half the long way. So maybe working on a table or another flat surface. You're just going to fold it in half the long way. So you should have something that looks like this. Now you're going to turn it into portrait orientation, so this way, and you're going to, again, fold it in half. And it is kind of important to make sure that everything's lining up with the folds so that your pages come out well at the end. So you can take your time making sure everything lines up. But after that second step, you should have something that looks like this. So your paper should now be kind of folded into 4 equal sections. Now the next step, you're going to continue to hold it in landscape orientation. So you should be holding it the long ways again. And you're going to fold the sides in to meet the halfway line that you've created. So basically like this, and I'll show you. So I'm going to take this side of the paper first, and I'm going to fold the edge in to meet that middle line that I created from the last fold. So that's one side, and then I'm going to do the same thing on the opposite side. Again, folding it in to meet the middle line. When I do that, I should have something that looks like this, kind of like a little brochure style fold. And I'm just going to fold it back in on itself as well, just to really solidify that middle crease. Kind of doing like this. And then when I unfold it, you will see that I have 8 sections. And these are actually the 8 pages of your zine. And this is the template. This is kind of your canvas for the drawing, where you're going to create all your awesome illustrations. So I've already, I kind of set aside, I labeled one earlier just to show you. This part is pretty important because this is explaining where you're going to put what page. They don't go in complete order, it's a little bit different. So as you can see here, you're going to have your front cover, is going to be this section. The back cover, page 6, page 5, and then up here you have page 4, page 3, page 2, page 1. So if you want to pause your video here and maybe just make a note of that or write it in light pencil lines on your own template, that might be a good idea. Again, you have front cover, back cover, page 6, page 5, page 4, page 3, page 2, and page 1. So that's sort of the order that you're going to follow as you begin drawing, and how your pages are going to come together in the final step when we actually do the fold that creates the zine itself. So now that you have the template, now that you have the 8 pages set up, you're going to take a little time to complete your drawings. So think of a really creative idea, think of something that you're really excited about drawing and something that you'd like to have a little book of at the end of the project. So I'm thinking that I'm going to do a piece about the ocean, where I'm from in Maine, because that's a really big source of inspiration for me in my own artwork. It's my favorite place in the world, being at the coast in Maine. And I have a lot of pictures that I've taken and a lot of sketches that I've created when I've been at the ocean, by the sea. So that's what my zine is going to be about, and I'm going to take a few minutes to go and make my own. I'm going to use my Micron ink pens, but you can use whatever you have at home. So pencils are great, pens of any kind are great, colored pencils are great if you want to use color, really any materials that you have to draw with. Be as creative as possible, have fun with it. Again, follow the template that I laid out for you. And again, you can pause that and fill it in if you need to. And then we will meet back here when we are done with our drawings, and I will show you how to actually fold it together and how to turn it into the book. So now that we've all created our illustrations for our zine, I'm going to show you how to actually fold it into that book shape. So this is my, these are my images that will become the pages of my zine. One thing I wanted to point out that I probably should have pointed out a little bit earlier is that you want to make sure that the top of each of your pages, the top of the illustration, is at the middle crease. So right now when I'm holding it like this, it looks like I've drawn these images upside down, but really when we fold it into the book structure, they'll be right side up. So in order for that to happen, you just need to make sure that the top of every image is at that middle crease that you created earlier. All right. So again, I was really inspired by the ocean in Maine, and that's kind of the content of my zine. I was looking at rock formations, I was looking at the coastline, the trees, the water, and that's kind of the content of my zine. I chose to title it By the Sea. You can write your title on that front cover page. You can also write your name as you're the author. And then I chose to write the end on my back page, but you don't have to do that, or you can if you want to. All right, so let's begin folding. So you're going to hold it in landscape orientation like this, and then you're going to fold it back along that middle crease that you created already. So you're just going to fold it like so. For this next step, you do need scissors. So this is the only cut that you're going to make, but you need a pair of scissors, and you're going to cut along just this line right here. So not all the way over to the end, right? Because then we'd be cutting our zine in half. But you're cutting just along this line right here in the middle. So I'm going to take my scissors and carefully, really carefully line them up and make that small cut. All right. So once you've done that, you can put the scissors aside. Then you're going to unfold it again. So fold it back out, and then you're going to fold it down the long way. So you're going to hold it in landscape orientation again, but now fold it down this way so that you have that long skinny piece. And as you can see, this is my back cover and my front cover right here. So this next step is kind of fun. You're going to hold the outer two edges of your paper, and you're just going to kind of pop your book open like that and create this shape with the pages. So you're going from here and kind of just pushing in, and those pages will pop out and you'll get this sort of shape right here. And then you're just going to fold it in on itself like so. You're going to be lining up everything nice and clear. Oh, nope. So you're going to find your cover page. That's the key. So when you're here, you want to find your cover page. So mine is right here. And it doesn't really matter like where you fold it because it's all going to be same place. But if you find your cover, locate that, fold that forward. And you should have a nice little zine like this. So I'm noticing that I hadn't perfectly lined something up before in my folding, which is why it's really important to be as careful with that as possible. So like right there, that is kind of bothering me because there's that little, it's not quite lined up. So if you want, you can just carefully take your scissors and trim along and just make sure that like everything is lining up. And it might end up cutting off a little bit of your illustration, but it shouldn't be too much. That's just if it really bothers you. So I'll show you my zine. So this is my zine titled By the Sea. And I think it's just so cool being able to flip through some of the drawings like a little book. And the end. So now you have your own tiny zine that you can show your family. You can eventually, maybe when we have access to a photocopier again, we can actually make some copies of these so that you can distribute them. But for now, you can just enjoy yours that you've created at home. You can make as many as you want with about all different ideas and content. As long as you have pieces of paper and a pair of scissors, you can create a zine. So please share photos of your work with me. Please email or send them to me via message. I would love to see the wonderful ideas that you come up with for your zine. I would love to see your illustrations, your drawings, and your beautiful work. So that is zine making. I hope you enjoy and have fun with this project. Stay creative and stay healthy and happy. See you soon.